Did you know the A380 holds the record for the longest wingspan of any commercial airliner? Oh, you did? Well, stay tuned because here are some facts about your favorite airplanes, including some lesser known facts about the A380 at the end, including one fact that might surprise you. Did you know the 737 has carried over 17 billion passengers? As of 2024, there are around 8.2 billion people in the world. The 737 has carried over double that in its life. While on the topic of the 737, did you know it's flown over 119 billion miles? To put that in perspective, it's enough for about 640 round-trip tickets from the Earth to the Sun. The 737 was and will continue to be a dominant airplane. Here's one about the 747. During the design of the 747, Boeing realized they would need a massive manufacturing facility to accommodate this gigantic plane. To fulfill that need, they built the Boeing Everett facility outside of Seattle, Washington, which still holds the record as the largest building on Earth by volume. Let's head out to Europe and Airbus for our next fact. When Airbus was designing their first plane, the A300, it was quite revolutionary at the time. Despite its apparent value and reliability, Airbus had no customers, especially not in the US market. Nobody wanted to take a risk on Airbus when Boeing was so well known and reliable. Eastern Airways knew Airbus was desperate to get into the US market, so Eastern asked Airbus if they could test 4 A300s for 6 months free of charge. Airbus was initially skeptical. However, George Ward, head of US sales, saw potential. The rest, as they say, is history. While on the topic of Airbus and the A300 was the first twin-engine jet to cross the Atlantic and set the precedent for ETOPS as we know it today. Before that, the belief and rules was that a plane needed at least 3 engines to cross an ocean. By the way, if you don't know what ETOPS is, it stands for Extended Range Twin Operation Performance Standards. Essentially, it's a set of regulations that allow twin-engine planes to fly over areas more than 1 hour from an emergency alternate. Different planes are rated for different ETOPS. If you're scared of flying over an ocean due to a potential engine failure, don't be. Not only are they extremely rare, but if one fails, the aircraft will always be in range of a suitable diversion airport at all times, and they can fly perfectly fine on one engine. Back to the facts. We're staying in Europe. Did you know the Concorde had a perfect safety record? You might say that's impossible. It had that crash in France. Yes, that is true, but there were no accidents that were caused by a mechanical problem with the plane. The truth of that crash is this. A DC-10 had just taken off prior to the Concorde's departure. It left a piece of strip metal on the runway and nobody noticed it. During the Concorde's takeoff roll, it struck that strip metal, which blew a tire and caused a fuel tank rupture. That is what caused the fire and subsequent crash. The Concorde is unjustly blamed for the crash by many. There's so much more I can say about the Concorde, but that will need its own video. We haven't talked about the A320 yet, so let's do that next. Then after that, we'll talk about the A380. Did you know the A320 is the best-selling airplane of all time? You might say, that's impossible. It's a well-known fact the 737 is the best-selling airplane. And you would have been correct in 2018. However, in 2019, the A320 passed the 737 and is now considered the best-selling airplane ever. Now here's a couple lesser-known facts about the A380. Airbus bet their company on the A380. They said the hub and spoke model, which means people traveling from smaller airports to major hubs to then go on to their destination, created the perfect opportunity for a super jumbo. Airbus spent a ton of money on its design, which originally began in 1988. If the A380 failed and nobody wanted it, Airbus would no longer exist today. You might say Airbus did fail due to raw numbers, and this is true in a way. It was not a popular airplane around the world for airlines. But sales don't tell the whole story. The A380 is a beloved airplane even in 2024. People go out of their way to fly on it. They will spend more money just to fly on the A380. In my opinion, its success is the joy and wonder the plane brings. It truly is a marvel of engineering. The next fact is related to both the A380 and 747. Airbus was keeping the design of their super jumbo top secret. Boeing found out about it and announced they would build their own super jumbo. They announced the 747-500X and 747-600X. The 600X would have been able to carry 650 passengers. Airbus thought it was over, Boeing had brand recognition, and who would buy an Airbus Super Jumbo when the 747 is a proven platform? Well, shortly after that, Boeing pulled out of the Super Jumbo race, saying a plane of that size was not needed. They said the hub and spoke model was outdated, and there could be planes to take people directly from where they live to their destination, without having to connect to a large hub. When Boeing talks, people listen. A lot of airlines who expressed interest in a Super Jumbo quickly lost interest. Airbus decided to press on anyway, and it was smart. Boeing was wrong. The hub and spoke model is not outdated. It is still needed. This bet by Airbus definitely paid off when the A380 came to be. Even saying this though, the A380 was not a commercial success. It was sort of late to the party. The 747 was successful because there were no long-range twin jets, and ETOPS didn't exist yet. The 767 and A300 were out before the A380 began development, and even more long-range twin jets were out by the time the A380 launched. The A380 is still a beautiful and magnificent plane. There's a lot more interesting information about the A380. All those A380 facts came from a Smithsonian show called Planes That Changed the World. I suggest giving that series a watch if you love aviation. It's very enjoyable. Well, there are some facts about some of your favorite airplanes. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, a like and a sub would be awesome. See you in the next one.